Hello and welcome to this first look exploring session looking at a university witty play thing with these wonderful readers that we are going to have here. This is one of 4 videos with generic introductions looking at 4 different academic entertainment-y things that we're releasing this Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone. And yes, so we're having a bit of fun with some short pieces with Liza, Aliki, Eric, and Tom, and myself, Robert. And yes, we are now going to go into the play for this video, which is variously titled, depending on which order you want to name the characters. You could call it Ruff, Band and Cuff. You can call it Band, Cuff and Ruff. Or there's another variation. I can't think which it is. But basically, it's a merry dialogue between Band, Cuff and Ruff. And there are a selection of characters here whose names you may be able to guess. It comes to us in lots of different witnesses, and I don't know whether we have actually all of the potential variations for this particular text. It dates from somewhere around 1613, 14, 15-ish, probably originating in Cambridge. Yeah, it's a 3-hander. There aren't many stage directions. I'll ask Tom, actually, could you read the stage directions for this this first play? And we'll see how it all goes. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Tom to say who potentially enters initially.
Enter Band and Ruff.
Where art thou, Cuff?
Here at hand, sir.
Where is this cup?
Almost at your elbow.
Oh, Band, art thou there? I thought thou had spit out of date by this time, or shrunk in the wedding, at least.
What, do you think I'm afraid of your greatness? No, you shall know that here are men of fashion in place as well as yourself.
Good Band, do not fret so.
A scurvy shipjack, a shig-shag gentleman you come out of the north, a puny, very freshman come here to be admitted to learn fashions would seek to expel me.
Nay, if you be too broad with him, Band, we shall have a fray with him presently.
Sir, I'll pull down your collar for you.
He jostles Band and Cuff stays them.
'Twas time for me to stay you, for I'm sure you were a falling Band.
Well, Band, for all you are so still, I'll make you limber enough before I leave you.
No, Hodge Poker, it's more than thou canst do.
This foot, let me come to him. Well, Band, let me catch you in another place, and I'll make cut work of you.
Cut work of me? No, there's ne'er a Spanish Ruff of you can all do it.
Sfoot, if they two should go together by the ears and hurt one another, Cuff would be in a fine plight, would he not?
Well, Band, thou hast better look to thyself, for if I meet thee, I'll lace thee soundly.
Lace me, thou wouldst be laced thyself, for this is the very truth, Ruff. Thou art a plain knave.
If they talk of lacing, I had best look about myself.
Darest thou meet me the field?
The field, thou art but an effeminate fellow, Ruff, for all thou art so well set, but at what weapon?
Hey, I'll give thee this advantage. Bring what weapon thou wilt. I scorn to make anything of thee but needlework.
Sfoot, thou shalt know that a gentleman and a soldier scorns thy offer.
A soldier?
Why, did you ne'er hear of the great Band went over some 2 years ago?
Where did you serve in the Low Countries?
It may be so, for he's a Holland Band.
Where I served, it's no matter. I'm sure I've been pressed often.
Truly, his laundress will bear him witness of that.
Press me no pressings. I'll make you know that Ruff is steeled to the very back. And if I had my stick here, you should feel it too.
Nay, braggart, 'tis not your great words can carry it away. For give Band but a hem, and he'll be for you at any time. Name therefore the place, the day, and hour of our meeting.
The place, the paper mills, where I'll tear thee into rags before I have done with thee. The day, tomorrow, about 1. But do you hear? We will fight single, you shall not be a double Band.
Now I perceive the Spaniard and the Hollander will to it roundly.
But do you hear once more? Do not say the next time I meet you that you forgot the time.
No, I warrant you, there's no man more careful of the time than Band is, for I'm sure he hath always a dozen of clocks about him.
Farewell, then.
Then farewell.
Nay, you shall not part so. You two will go into the fields, and know not what fighting means. A couple of white-livered fellows. The long dress will make you both look as white as a clout if she list, for if you lack beating, she'll beat you, I warrant you. She will so clap your sides together that she will beat you to pieces in once or twice handling. Why, I have known her leave her marks behind her a whole week together. She'll quickly beat you black and blue, for I'm sure she'll scarce wash white before she starches.
Well, remember your time and place, Ruff.
Remember yourselves, and Mistress Stitchwell, one that you have both been beholding to in your days.
Oh, Mistress Stitchwell, by this light I know her not.
No, nor you neither.
No, not I swear by all the gum and blue starch in Christendom.
I thought so. 'Tis the Sempster, one that both you had been undone had it not been for her. But what talk I of undoing? I say, Mistress Stitchwell, the Sempster was the very maker of you both. And yet thus little you regard her. But 'tis the common fashion of you all, when you come to be great, and as you are, you forget from what house you come.
Foot, Ruff cares not a point for her.
Nor Band a button.
Well, Ruff and Band, you had best both take heed of her. You know she set you both in the stocks before now, and if she catch you again, it's 100 to 1 if she hang you not up. She hath strings already.
Well, go to meet me if you dare.
The place, the paper mills, the hour, tomorrow at 1.
Since you will go, go, but hear me, if you do go, look well upon me. As little a fellow as I am, I will come and cuff you both out of the field if I do not say Cuff is no man of his hands.
Alas, poor Shrump, thou art nothing of my hands.
If you go, you shall never say Cuff comes of a sleeveless errand. I'll bind your hands, I warrant you, for stricking.
Say and hold, Ruff, remember the paper mills.
Nay, if you be so choleric, I'll even pin you both in as soon as I come home. Can you not decide the quarrel between you without a field? I thought you had been a little more mild. Why, you were a horrible Puritan the other day, a very precise Ruff.
Hang him, base rascal. Would he not make any man mad to such a poor snake that durst not scarce peep out of doors before choler came to town? Now to swagger it so.
Come, you shall be friends, Band.
Friends with him, such a base rascal. He's very threadbare fellow. I scorn, but my man Collar shall go better every day in the week than he, and be friends with him.
Thy man Collar, thy master, thou would say, for I am sure he's thy upholder.
Nay, surely he is his master, or at least his maker, for bands makes rags, rags makes a paper, paper makes pasteboard, and pasteboard makes a collar. And I think this is a stiff argument that he is his maker, and therefore master.
Well, he will be what he will be. If I catch his collar, I'll cut him into jags. Let me but clasp him, and I'll make him for stirring.
But you shall not fight. Have you not friends and neighbors to end this controversy for you? But you must fight and go into the field and there cut the thread of your lives. We will have none of that. Come, choose you an umpire, Band, for it shall be so.
Since you will force me to it, if Ruff be content, I am willing.
Ruff, you shall be content?
If I shall, I must. Let him name him.
If I may name him, I'll have Master Handkerchief.
Nay, stay there. He's a most filthy, sniveling fellow and a noble lawyer. He'll wipe your nose of all if you put the case to him. What say you to Shirt?
Oh, he's a filthy, shifting knave, and one whom Band hath been much beholding unto. They were joined together a long time in friendship.
Why then, go to Master Cap, the head man of the town.
No, I deny that he is a very bad justice. You may have him wrote on any side for money.
I'll tell you what, we'll go to my lord Corpus himself.
He's not in town.
Yes, for this day I saw Sock, his chief footman.
Here's ado with you and my Lord Corpus. I would you both were hanged about his neck for me. I think you would then be quiet. But I see this strife will ne'er be ended unless I be moderator between you. You know I am equally allied to you both. Shall I be arbitrator between you?
Content.
Content.
Well then, Ruff shall be most accepted of among the clergy, for he is the grand fellow, although I know the Puritans will not so greatly care for him. He hath such a deal of setting, and they love standing so well. As for you, band, you shall be most of all made of among the gallants, although they shall use Ruff sometimes for a fashion, but not otherwise. But howsoever, you need not regard the giddy-headed multitude. Let them do as they list, sometime respecting one thing, sometime another. But when you come to the counselors, which are men of law and know right from wrong, judging your worths to be equal, they shall prefer neither, but use the kindness of you both, wearing both a band and a ruff. How say you? Are you both pleased? Speak.
We are.
We are.
Then go before to the next tavern, and I'll follow after with a new band of your friendship drawn, which I hope these gentlemen will seal with their hands.
And Cuff speaks the epilogue.
Claw me, and I'll claw thee, the proverb goes. Let it be true we this, our muse here, shows. Cuffs graceth hands, Cuff's debtors' hands remain. Let hands clap me, and I'll cuff them again.
And it ends. Oh, that was fun. I mean, it is entirely based on clothing puns, some of which, you know, an average audience may not get, but a lot of them they will. And regardless, I don't know, I just think the energy and the lightness of it sort of carries the day, because it is. And I think you gave it lots of welly, which really gave it a life and bounce. You know, it's basically two people having an argument, and the other one say, "No, don't have a fight. No, we really want to have a fight. No, don't have a fight. No, we really want to have a fight." So you know, even if you're not getting some of them, I'm sure even in, you know, 16, 13, 14, 15, it may be so for he as a Holland band would get a groan from the audience. I mean, it's like you can just hear them going, "Oh, really?" It's just full of that kind of gag, and but it keeps piling them on. It just keeps throwing more and more and more. So, you know, stiffness of cuffs and things like that, and starch and all the rest of it, and laundry things. Thoughts in the room. I've talked a lot. Liza, I imagine you have many thoughts.
Well, yes. I mean, this is an interesting point in fashion history. We're at the transition point between ruffs, which are made of cloth that does this. I'm making little figures of 8 with my hands, and it stands out from the neck. Your classic ruff. Among scholars, the fashion was for small, narrow ruffs with no lace, although you could put lace if you were feeling fancy. And the band collar, which is a flat piece of fabric, a falling band, which there's a joke about. A falling band lies right over your shoulders. You can also get a stiff band collar that stands out. So the question is, which is more fashionable, which is more appropriate? And it's interesting that we conclude that the ruff shall be favored among the clergy, because nowadays when we think of the clergy, we think of just a little stand-up collar, which is the descendant of the band, and then. But in this case, band shall be favored among the gallants. You could make it out of very fine linen. You could edge it with lace. It was very, very nice. You know, think of your like Three Musketeers dudes, or certain portraits with these big linen collars. And then And lawyers shall wear both a band and a ruff. I wonder if I can find any pictures of them doing that. There were specific gowns you wore in court to show, then as now, there was specific attire you wore to show that you were a lawyer. And it's interesting, the band and ruff. I'll see if I can find some photos.
I mean, the nice thing about this, and this is going on my lovely little short things that one can produce really quickly, which are really light and fun. I think it does definitely it would benefit from a brief introduction to some of that basically what Liza's just said.
Part of it is visual if you put people on stage in those costumes.
Exactly. I mean, yes, we're a podcast and there'll be an audio version of this, but I do like this as a little stage show because it's so because especially as we've got quite a few of this kind of thing. You could do basically a series of little sketches and little skits with just a brief intro. A visual, a really good bit of visual signifier so that you know what's going on, and I think it really stood up well. I was really pleased with that. Other thoughts, Eric?
I just enjoyed that the fact, like, sort of Cuff kind of goes, "No, don't fight," and then sort of maybe you need an umpire, like someone to arbitrate this argument, and then he goes, "I'll be arbitrator." It's like, well, it's fine. I'll handle it since you clearly can't. And they just kind of go, okay.
I also like the fact there's a sort of extended embroidery universe. That
of course,
we've got Master Handkerchief, we've got Master Cap, we've got Lord Corpus, we've got Sock his chief footman, bum bum.
There was also a shirt that's filthy and what was it? Yeah.
Yes,
a
filthy
Master
shifting knave.
Master Cap, the headman of the town.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the shirt is a shift. It's the punning is very nicely layered in.
It is. It reminds me a great deal of Work for Cutlers. I don't know if you've read that.
We haven't read that in this context yet. It's from almost bang on top of this, and it would be interesting to see if we can detect, authorial voices. They're a bit too slight to really play that game, but it would be interesting
for the audience. Work for Cutlers is an argument between a fancy civilian rapier and a simple military sword as to which one should have precedence, and a buckler, which is a tiny shield, is the arbitrator figure there saying, oh, don't fight.
So it's almost exactly the same game as this. It's almost the same length. So it'd be interesting when we get around to doing that one, which will happen sooner or later. Any other thoughts on band Ruff and Cuff, or Cuff, Ruff and Band, and the other combination?
I just like the insults. Hodgepodge is a great one that we need to bring back. Though I feel that was probably a pun that I missed. So yeah, I'm enjoying the insults from this period and sort of press me, no pressings.
It's an interesting question also about what the characters are doing in terms of their because they're constantly saying, "I'm going to go now." Now, are they walking really slowly that they want to be talked out of going to actually have a duel, or are they bursting out and is Cuff dragging them back? I think there's actually play there with how you perform it.
That's the one thing I was going to say. There's so much room for physical comedy here, so that even if not all of the puns read for an audience, there's just a great deal of fun to be had.
Yeah, I think that's got a little mini tick from me. I'm happy with that. Any other thoughts? Final thoughts on Ruff Band and Cuff, or Cuff Run Band, the collar show. Okay.
Oh, there was definitely a pun on collar, the article of clothing, and collar anger, saying, you shall, what is it? That
if you be so choleric.
That durst not scarce peep out of doors before collar came to town.
Okay.
If you be so choleric, I'll even pin you both in again as well. So and we had there's just it's the gift that's just going to keep on giving. Right, now to an awkward cut to the close of this video. Well, we've enjoyed this insert academic entertainment here. All that remains to thank all the wonderful readers, Tom, Eric, Liza, and Aliki, for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. A line from the end of the play.